Hi everyone. Good evening to you all. So sorry for the delayed recording of the video. So on 21 and 22, I had two examinations which were part of my plan B, out of which one was UIIC. So almost the entire days for 20th, 21 and 22 went towards me preparing for this examination. Hence the delay in the recording of the video. So sharing my experience when it comes to UIIC. So UIIC, as you know, the cutoff is generally very high. Last time it was 127.5 out of 200, which is a pretty high mark. But this time the paper was out of 250. So I'll share my experience when it comes to how the paper was. Reasoning for me was so all my experience is related to the guidely mocks that I was doing. So I had purchased a course where I had written 10 out of 10 mocks for guidely. So I'll compare my actual examination experience with how the mocks was, and accordingly we'll discuss how the paper went. So reasoning, I felt I did fairly well because my selection of questions, etc. When it comes to reasoning, I felt it was okay. But again, slightly it could have been improved because I know I did all the easy questions like syllogism, inequality, etc. So all those were coming. Even critical reasoning is okay for me. So I went ahead and did that also. Puzzles for me it was tough and it was very lengthy also. So I felt I did played it safe when it comes to puzzles, and I ended up solving almost all of them, almost all the puzzles that I actually chose also. But again, slightly, maybe one or two puzzles I could have actually went for, but I could not get the time to do that. So slight issues were there, but overall I could manage to solve 27 out of 50. When I was doing mocks, I mean I found the mocks are more on the easier side. There the last mocks that I did, I could do up to 30, 32 around that range. So my scores were coming around 30 to 32. So compared to that, I found the actual paper tough on the tougher side because even the coding question that came, that was not tough per se, it was lengthy, and all the puzzles were also very lengthy. So compared to, but when I was doing the guideline mocks, I was getting the answers more easier. So compared to that, reasoning for me, I felt slightly on the difficult to moderate side, but still I would feel from where I was, like initially I was doing like maximum 15 to 16 questions. So I managed to almost double that. So 27 attempt I'm very much happy with. Now coming to mathematics, mathematics is for me is a very it's a comparatively stronger area. So I did 28 out of 40 questions. There were questions from approximation, quadratic equation, etc., which I managed to save, do very fast. And then it is usually said that you should go to data interpretation question, which is the same path that I followed. And data interpretation, for me, one question was easy. So that was okay and doable within the allotted time. But one question, I felt the question was wrong. So maybe 1 or 2 minutes went in that question, and if I try to immediately bail out and move on to the next question, but if I had that 2 minutes there, I could have maybe done one or two more questions, etc. But that is again will be taken care of when the marks are displayed, because there will be some kind of normalization. Because one question I know is definitely wrong, so that is like entirely 5 or 6 questions when it comes to data interpretation. So that cannot be touched because the question was wrong, and I ended up wasting 1 or 2 minutes there. But still, I'm happy with my number of attempts. 28 out of 40 is okay, and I managed to pick the easier question. So even the questions that I left, I could not have done within the allotted time. So I'm happy with the attempt. And English also is an area where I am fairly comfortable. So 50 out of 50 questions. I hope the accuracy is okay. So 50 out of 50 questions I managed to do. Now at this stage, like each section had a sectional timer. It was not a composite timing. So each section had a sectional timing. So at this point, I was actually faring a bit below my level when it comes to mocks. Because mocks reasoning I used to do 32, 34, almost around that range, and maths around 30, English also 50. So I was standing around 5 or 6 questions below my actual range when it comes to mocks. But in the mocks, the area where I was struggling was the general awareness section. But fortunately or unfortunately, in the actual exam, general awareness was okay for me, and I managed to double my expectation when it comes to the number and correct attempts of the questions that I did. So I did almost 37 questions because the negative is only 1/4 mark, so it is okay. And even if you get one question correct, that will compensate for four questions. So if you they take in informed guesses in five questions, even if you get one out of that correct, still you will have some kind of, you will have 0 marks, which means that all will be neutralized. So at least two out of five correct questions in, informed guesses, that will give your marks +1 on the positive side. So I went ahead and, or even the 50-50 questions, I went ahead and marked that somewhere correct, somewhere not correct. But when I actually checked the key, I was quietly surprised because I was getting somewhere in the range of 24 to 26 correct out of 37. So if I get 24 correct out of 37, I will end up with almost maybe 25 marks out of 40 because they are out of 50 because the marks are out of 50. So 25 marks out of 50. And if I get 26, I'll get around 29 marks out of 50. So this again is like when I was doing mocks, my marks used to stand around 10 to 12. So this almost doubled my marks when it comes to the mark I was getting in mock. So I felt for me GA became a game changer because the marks that I thought I will, gain in reasoning, I actually went beyond my expectation and got that in general awareness. And current and computer awareness part again was okay for me. I mean, I made one silly mistake which could have been avoided, but it's okay. I mean, it's all part of the examination. Some you get, some you don't. So I am expecting somewhere in the range of 18 to 19 correct, which means that I'll get around, 35 to 37 marks, something around that range, which is also pretty okay. And now overall, based on my attempts, I did 162 attempts. uh, this is my attempt mark for UIIC, and score I am expecting is reasoning again is out of 1, so 27 marks here. Marks, maths, if I so maximum I'll be going with the maximum mark, so 27 correct here. Maths is like 1.25 marks for each question, so here I may get around 35 marks maximum. English, like if I go around 80% accuracy, I may get around 50 marks out of 60. And general awareness, I'm expecting somewhere around 25 to 28 marks, maybe out of 50. And computer awareness around, 34 marks. So I'm expecting somewhere around 27 plus the 35, 62. Then again 112, 146. So 146, like somewhere maximum around 171 marks I may get. So this is a very, positive estimate, which is not at all conservative, and somewhere around 150 to 170 is what I'm expecting. I hope, it goes according to what I, like expect. Okay, again, it's not at all in my hands, like, but I'm happy with my attempt because in my opinion, I managed to fare beyond my expectation based on what I was getting in mocks. So I'm very happy with my effort. And that also like the most happiest part is that here at least you know that whatever effort you are putting in, you are getting the output because almost past 1 month I was giving a lot of mocks. So that improvement when it comes to subjects like reasoning, when it comes to general awareness, etc., I was able to witness in the actual exam. So even if I don't get, I am happy because at least in my attempt and in my correct answers, I'm managing to see the result and a visible improvement. So that again is testimony to the fact that if you do well or if you practice much in the mocks, etc., then it can actually benefit you in the actual exam. So this is my experience when it comes to UIIC. So I gave around 10 mocks specifically for Guidely, and iExamB platform also I gave a lot of mocks. So I'm happy that my reasoning has improved, and most importantly, I just did the last 3 months current affair, and that also came to help me, and some bit of UPSC knowledge when it comes to sustainable development, goal, competition commission, etc. So these also help me in general awareness. So altogether, I am happy with my experience. Even if I don't get the call or anything, also I'm fine because I gave 162 attempt, and I believe it is fairly accurate also. So even if I don't get also, it is fine because from where I was when I wrote ECGC, where I was like completely struggling and I was like, completely zoned out. I could not get anything. I am seeing a visible improvement, so I'm happy with that. And that is all regarding my experience when it comes to UIIC. Thank you for watching, and good night.